Internet, Eric here. Fantastical February continues. What that is, I explained it last month. Unless I have a live stream planned for some reason, whether an interview or getting together with Frenzy, or just some movie that I really, really want to talk about, each month on my channel this year will have a specific theme. And this month is Fantastical February. Nothing but fantasy films. So, swords and sorcery, mythical creatures, fairy tales, anything and everything to do with your typical fantasy movie. I started off the month with Conan the Barbarian. Let's get to its sequel, Conan the Destroyer. There you go. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot, spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. There's nothing on the back. Basic plot of this is we're still following the exploits of Conan. He is now teamed up with a would-be thief named Malik, and he meets Queen Taramis, and Taramis promises Conan that she can bring Valeria back from the dead. Valeria was his love that was killed in the first film. All he has to do is escort Princess Jehnna, Queen Taramis' niece, on a mission to go find a specific jewel, because there's a prophecy that a virgin is the only one who can touch this jewel. A person born with a mark. That jewel can unlock a mystical horn that could bring back the god of, I think it's the god of dreams, that Taramis wants to bring back to life to worship. Unbeknownst to Conan, obviously, Queen Taramis is full of shit, and they need to sacrifice this virgin to fulfill the prophecy to bring the god back to life. Conan doesn't know that. Joanna doesn't know that, so they got to stop it during the finale. That type of jazz. Let's get this out of the way. I fucking love this film. I love it more than Conan the Barbarian. I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched this as a kid and as an adult. People might not believe that I love it more than the Barbarian, but you know what? I don't really give a shit. First off, Arnold is a lot better in this film. He still knows how to swing a sword. He's, impressive barbarian-looking dude in a loincloth. But since this is 2 years later, he now has time to shine. He's gotten more comfortable in his acting, and he's now more comedic. You know what I mean? I'm not talking goofy, haha, stupid shit, but sarcasm, wittiness, stuff like that. He can tell a joke, and he's shown a little bit of that shine that he'll show later on in like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, those type of comedies. An example is he's trying to teach Princess Jehnna how to fight, and Zula, she's the female companion. Her weapon is like a bow staff, like Donatello uses. And she's at first teaching Jehnna, and Conan's drunker and shit. And he's trying to teach, he goes up to her, he's like, you want to learn how to fight? Use a real weapon, not a toothpick. And he throws, the bow staff. Shows her how to hold the knife, then turns around and walks straight into, Wilt Chamberlain passes out. He's got great chemistry, especially with Tracy Walter, who plays Malik. It's a good buddy thing, just chit-chatting and giving each other shit type of thing. Arnold is really, really good. Wilt Chamberlain plays Bombata. Bombata is the queen's, head of the guards, I guess you would say, and he's there to be Princess Joanna's bodyguard. Make sure she gets there safely. And Wilt's job basically is to just be intimidating. Nails it. His size, his strength, he looks awesome. He can swing a mace, he can ride a horse, he can fight Arnold. Does his job. Queen Taramis, well, first here's Wilt Chamberlain. Queen Taramis is played by Sarah Douglas. I only know her from Superman and Superman 2, from, the Christopher Reeve movies. She's one of the villains, and she does her job. She's not in the movie very much, but she gorgeous to look at, and she's got there's something with her facial features, the way she delivers her lines to Conan. You as the viewer can tell right away she's full of shit, but there's a little bit of charm in the way she delivers her lines that you kind of fall for it, and that's what I like about her. And with her facial features, especially by the end of the film, the anticipation of the sacrifice that has to happen when the gods come into life. You buy this, like her anticipation, her excitement, her love for what's going to happen, and then when shit hits the fan, fear. It's great. Grace Jones plays Zula. And she's my favorite character in the whole fucking movie. She is what's left of a group of thieves that was they raided a village, and she was the only one left alive. So they tie her up to this post, and like all the villagers are like trying to beat the shit out of her. And Conan walks by, and Princess Jehnna convinces him to free her, frees her from the post. She beats the shit out of the villagers. They ride away, and then she follows them. And after getting into a great fucking fight with Bombata, like he just says, "Be off. Let me ride. Let me speak to Conan." I said, "Be off." I remember I watched this with my daughter. She sat and watched the whole fucking movie the first time. Zula rides away and then suddenly turns around and in full battle cry, she's going down. She's chasing up on Bombata with her bow staff like it's a joust, knocks him off the horse. My daughter was like, "Yeah, that woman is cool." Beats the shit out of him, like leaps on his back, bites his ear, head butts him. She's a badass chick. One of my favorite lines in this whole movie is Conan, "Stop." And then she says, if Conan would let me ride with him and fight with him, I would die for him. Something like that. And then Conan just says, "We shall see." She's got this big giant grin on her face. Great character. Again, badass, tough. I like the scene where she's trying to teach Joanna how to fight. Joanna's kind of having feelings for Conan. Zula, what would you do if you liked a man? I'd grab him and take him. You know what I mean? Type of thing. She's just no nonsense. After a fight, Malik's kind of fallen for it, Tracy Walters, and he's putting on some cream to help with the infections of the wounds. And he's putting it on her leg, and his hands are starting to go up her thigh. My wounds are lower. I don't want the infection to spread. I'll spread your head open. She's really fun. I love it. And what's great about her is she's so tough. Another one of my favorite scenes is when they're going through one of the caverns and she starts screaming. And everyone looks at her and it's a rat. She's scared to death of rats. She's trying to hit at it with her bow staff. And then she looks at everybody who's giving her a look and she's just like, she's so cool. Princess Jehnna, played by Olivia D'Abo, who I only know as the older sister from The Wonder Years. She's fine, speaks with a British accent, looks pretty. Tracy Walter as Malik, who I only know as, he's Bob the Goon. He would eventually play Bob the Goon in Batman, Cookie in City Slickers, and I think one of his last roles was in Rob Zombie's 31 as like the gas station attendant. He's so fucking funny in this movie. He's a coward, but he's loyal. He's loyal to Conan. I love that. They have such a great relationship. I love his flirtations with Zula. And I like how lots of times he tries to chicken out, and then Conan says, "Okay, stay here by yourself then." And after they dive into some water to find like the underground entrance to I guess you'd say palace or something. He says, "They need me." So he's convincing himself to jump into the water and go with that. And then I love the best part, like he will get into a fight. Like he helps Conan, like in the very beginning of the movie, they get into a fight with the Queen's guards. Conan's hacking and slashing at everybody. Malik jumps on a horse behind a guy, stabs him in the gut like 3 times with like his little blades, but then the dead body falls on him and he's trapped type of thing. He's comedic relief. It works. I love him, especially when Conan kills the monster at the end. Conan gives a death blow, but then Malik just has to walk up, stab it with the knife, and then put his foot on it like he did it. Love him. Mako returns as the wizard. He actually gets something to do this time. Conan seeks him out because they know that they gotta save the princess or they gotta deal with a wizard or something like that. So they need a wizard to fight a wizard, blah, blah, blah. Mako's being sacrificed by cannibals because they think if they eat him, they'll get his power. And he's just a fun character. He makes goofy faces when he's doing his magic. It makes me think of what's his face from Bloodsport, the villain. Every time he's trying to fight. But Mako's good. Any other characters that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. So all the characters are great. All the characters do what they're supposed to do. They're lots of fun when they need to be fun, brutal when they need to be brutal. Awesome. Basil Palladores kicks ass with the score again. I like this score a little bit more than in the Barbarian because it's very similar, but this opening score is very similar to the one in Barbarian, but it pumps you up even more. It's more majestic, and it's just so badass. I couldn't tell you as a kid how many times I would just rewind the opening credits just to hear this score. So good. Action, top notch, and this is only PG. This is only PG. 1984, before, same year as Temple of Doom, same year as Gremlins. When the PG-13, they're like watching these movies. It's not quite R yet, but this is bloodier than shit. Let's have something in between. We have Conan coming in when he saves the wizard. He literally comes in and he takes a swipe of his sword at one of the cannibals, and the camera focuses on a head spinning up in the fucking air. You see the body fall down. Conan hacks another guy, and it falls down on the bonfire that's going to cook Mako. The opening fight scene with the Queen's guards. Conan literally swiping the sword, and they're literally like a fucking fountain. Blood is coming out of the sides of these people. When they're fighting the god at the end, played by Andre the Giant. To defeat it, you have to rip its horn out. Conan is slowly ripping the horn out of this fucking creature's head. You see the muscles and the tendons being pulled and stretched. You hear you see blood pouring out. And then when you see the dead body and just this green pus pours out. Violence, action, so good. Now there is some cheesy shit. Don't get me wrong. I like when they Jehnna is captured by a wizard. A wizard lives in an ice castle. Turns into this CGI smoke bird. Takes her away. Bad green screen. What the fuck ever. And then they have to rescue her. And then Conan gets stuck into this room full of mirrors. And out comes this weird looking fucking monster. Reptilian. He's like one of the coolest looking faces that I've seen in a monster. But he's humanoid, but he's got like reptilian arms, like human, but they're covered in scales, black, weird reptilian face, fangs, and it's a cheesy fucking fight. It reminds me a little bit of pro wrestling. That might make sense because Andre the Giant's in this movie and Arnold was a big pro wrestling fan. Like, I used to call it the mirror monster because of the room full of mirrors. It is throwing Conan around like a rag doll. There's bear hugs, and Conan has to do the whole, get the arm in between the arms and like break the bear hug. The creature picks him up like for a torture rack. It's fun. Now, we've all seen the gif where Arnold's laying down or Conan's laying down. It lifts him by the legs and it swings him around. The fucking airplane spin by the legs. That looks dumb as shit. But you know what? I'm rolling with it. And it's cool because Conan, when he's in the torture rack, accidentally kicks a mirror. And you hear the monster growl. It's one of the best, like, roars, like painful roars from a monster I've ever heard. And he's putting two and two together. And every time a mirror breaks, a big gash appears on this monster. Chest, arms, across the head. And the music, again, this epic music, while this is happening, so good. Love it. The final fight between... Well, first off, I guess you'd say the final fight between Bombata and Conan is very good, brutal. But the main fight in the finale between Conan and the god that comes back to life, because since Jehnna wasn't sacrificed properly, it comes and turns into this gigantic, again, like this, I don't know how you describe this, creature from the Black Lagoon if it fucked Swamp Thing, I don't know, with this giant horn sticking out of its head. It is knocking Conan left and right. Conan's trying to hack and slash it, blood coming everywhere. It's trying to crush his head, and then Conan eventually jumps on his back and, like I said, rips the fucking horn out. So much fun. The comedy is great. Like I told you about Drunken Conan. I love how there's a callback to the camel that he punched in the first movie. They're being welcomed into the town. Uh, Malik looks at the camel and tells Conan, "Doesn't that look familiar?" "Well, yeah, I think so." And then Conan actually apologizes to the camel. The camel spits on his chest, and Conan like hits it on the head. It falls down. It reminds me of Blazing Saddles when the guy punches the horse. So much fun, and that's why I like this one more than the Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, first off, it's like 25 minutes shorter. Um, a better score, in my opinion, even though it's the same guy. A better group of people. There's more. Arnold has some charisma, which he didn't really have in the first movie. It's never boring. There's always action. It's boom, 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 boom. I absolutely love this one from beginning to end. Highly, highly recommend it. If you really like the Barbarian and you want a little, I don't want to say cheesier, but I don't want to say it's not as serious, but there is a little bit more comedic and fun elements. I highly recommend Conan the Destroyer. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Are you one of those people that just doesn't understand why I like Conan the Destroyer better than the Barbarian? It is what it is. You know what I mean? I absolutely love it. Do you agree with me? Do you have no desire to see the Barbarian or the Conan films? Coming up next, Jason Momoa's Conan the Barbarian. I've seen it a couple times. It's been years, like a long time. I remember really liking it, and I remember preferring Momoa over Arnold. And then after that, we'll see what we got. I've been sick. I mean, you might be able to hear it a little bit. Whole house has been sick, fighting something, but I want to try to at least get some content out. On the 21st, Frenzy and I will be getting back together with a live stream for John Candy Appreciation Night. And on the 28th, Melissa Hill will return so we can have a proper ending to that interview. But for the rest of the month, Fantastical February, I'm going to try to discuss Legends, Labyrinth, sit down and watch The Dark Crystal for the first time. What else? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler was requested. Not the Phantom Toll Booth. What's the other one? It's Whoopi Goldberg's in it. Not Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey, and not The Color Purple. I don't know. I got a whole list. It's in the other room. I'm tired. I'm sick. Full of cold medicine. But I highly recommend Conan the Destroyer. And cheers.